Greetings, everyone. Um, we have good news for you, and we'll just go right into it. The world is shifting to a new environment, a new system completely, and every one of us, humans, collective as a collective, everyone in Nigeria, everyone in Africa, are given an opportunity to decide in what trajectory their future will head onto. Because you can either accept change or you just recycle everything that's happened in the past. And there's the potential, because we're shaman and the futurist. We have the ability to see things in what you call in future. Meanwhile, there's just timelines, because there really is no time. There are just timelines of events that are occurring, and based on our one human's perception of reality, they perceive it linearly, like day per day. But everything has happened, is happening right now, and anything that's happening in the future is happening right now. Everything that's happened in the past is happening right now. So just picture of it as a library of memories, and the planet is the hard drive, and humans are like the files in the cabinets. So the events that are about to happen on this planet are known. The potentials of the events are known. So you can say that we know the outcome based on the information that's been presented in present day reality. We can then use that as a guiding path to identify which of this reality is highly possible. And we're seeing Nigerians making the same old mistake over and over again, because they have lost connection to their roots, they've lost connection to their sovereignty. And if something isn't done quickly, citizens, Africans, will just recycle more of the same. And that means the future of your children is at stake, and we're not going to let that happen. So here's our plan, and it involves everyone of the collective. Africa needs new energy systems. Africa can't continue depending on petroleum, and as you can see, that situation has driven the economy to a point where Nigerians have to now ask themselves the question: you can't continue with oil. It's not even a question. So oil is old money. So Africa has to start looking at new form of wealth generation. But the old people will just recycle the past because it's all they know. They don't understand the potentials. They don't understand the technologies that are available in present day reality, and their greed and ego will not allow them make a better decision. In their limited belief system, they believe in all these occultic ideas, including religion. Because if you pay attention to religion, it has some occultic, aroma in it. You have words like eat someone's blood and drink someone's body. Like, how does that serve your magnificence? How does that serve your honor as a cosmic entity on this planet? How does that serve your life? Having a doctrine or a creed that suggests that you have to eat someone's imaginary body and drink their imaginary blood in order to be a part of their system, in order to be loved or accepted or validated by this system or this organized system that tend to only favor those who are in the higher echelon of this establishment. So every citizen have to start paying attention to these things because they exist. You think you are being ruled by a government or a corporation. Meanwhile, these are just gangsters and oligarchies, and people, group of people making decisions that controls everyone because they have access to finance, or they have access to capitals and connections of people who are in the same fraternity. And all these ideas are just based on the informations that they were indoctrinated in the past, the limited belief system. Like energy, humans think energy is something complicated, but it's not. Humans really haven't just been thinking that far, and we're going to show you, we're going to expose this to you. Most people think in order to make a turbine spin, in order to make a wheel spin, to make a turbine and generate energy from the turbine, you need to use nuclear, you need to use gas, you need to use petroleum substance to turn and spin or use piston. This like you have the ICE vehicle, the internal combustion engines. You have this old system of energy generation, but nobody's thinking that if you could just use magnets, you can just select and set the magnets in a designed way that they will push and pull against each other and keep spinning forever for eternity, creating a system that automatically turns a turbine that then generates electricity based on the mass of the magnet and the standing wave of the magnet. So if you use a bigger magnet, you can generate larger voltages of electricity using the dynamo effect. So this is already known, but most people aren't thinking that. You weren't thinking that until you heard this. And now you see what's happening in the reality. You have people in the senator situation, you have people in the government situation, because many of them are victims of their own ignorance and they will not accept it because they are old and outdated, carrying outdated information. Now you have people in all these sectors in this organization making decisions on behalf of everyone else, and they don't even understand the nature of their reality or the mechanisms behind the decisions that they are making. For instance, you have people who are complaining about this COVID 19 and the virus outbreak, but many of them don't know what a virus is. Neither do they know what the content of a vaccine is, that they are now deciding that perhaps a mandatory vaccine would be the only solution to get people, integrate people back into society and make things move as it has always been. But they don't understand nothing is going back to the way it has been. And many people are not getting the message because they're expecting things to go back to the same way it has always been. But nothing, that's not going to happen. They have to introduce digital money system now, because you cannot carry on with this coronavirus scam or situation that you everything is poison, and if you touch, you're contaminating people and touching the virus and touching each other. And then, if you move on with that idea or that storyline or that narrative, you then see that paper money has to be eradicated, because paper money can continue if it risks the chance of people getting infected by this virus. So they cannot be paper money anymore after this. And that means many source of occupation will have to be dismissed, because you cannot continue a system without, using paper money if the system is bounded by the exchange of paper money and fiat currency. And now that oil is already out of the way, there's no way that this situation ends like in happy ending for Nigeria and the rest of Africa, especially if citizens don't start paying attention to the complexities and the potentials of the decisions that old people will make on their behalf. Now, we can introduce this magnetic energy systems, but the oligarchs and these gangsters probably wouldn't want this kind of system because they are afraid that it's going to stop their oil money, not understanding that the end of oil has gotten to its peak. And if Africans don't do something quickly, a foreigner is going to do something and then sell that product to Nigerians in Africa, and then we'll now have to depend on foreign allies for electricity. Electricities are basic amenities that each and every citizen have the right to as a cosmic entity on this planet, as a human being, as an independent, autonomous, biological instrument programmed to behave according to divine direction, divine drive, which means you are being driven by the cosmic energy, by the same energy that makes the universe. So every human on this planet deserve honor to a certain extent, if you have to base it on their level of awareness. But like on the foundation of it spiritually, we all ought to honor one another and respect that each and everyone is made up of the same substance that we're made of, driven by the same energy that's driving us, into some to a level, to some to a different level. Yes, because everyone can be equal, everyone can believe in one thing. We just need to accept this and become mature enough to see this truth. And once we can understand this truth, realize the next truth is that these old people do not have the information to lead Africa to the future. They will only lead Africa to the grave. And if you keep following them, you'll follow them to the grave. Now, we want to introduce new technologies to Africa, especially Africa, new energy systems using the magnetic motors. And we also want to introduce tractor beams. It's a system whereby you use plasma, it's kind of an invisible towing mechanism. It's the same mechanism that the moon is using to tow itself on the planet. That's why you notice you can only see one face of the moon. The moon is not a cosmic object, it's an artificial object. It was designed there for millions of years ago by civilizations before humans. Humans need to start understanding that our DNA is packed with information from long time of evolution. So we're all packed with the information that we need to create a better world, but we just need to understand who we are, know what we're made of, and believe in our ability to achieve these things together as a collective consciousness, as a collective entity, as a collective being, as a group of people, with one desire. We just want to have a better experience. And we're telling you that we can have much more than that if we begin. And there will be more. We love you all so much. We really do. And it's about time that people start really like paying attention to what they contribute, because it's our collective contribution that creates the environment that we all live in. It's not just about the government. Even many of the government people are not aware of many of the things that we've shared. So it's about time people start coming to light that our generation, the younger generation, are not going to stand for any of all these, you know, primitive shenanigans carried out by dinosaurs in human skin, old people who are not seeing a new world, and they believe that they have to struggle and use force in order to, take something back that they feel that belongs to them. Nothing belongs to everyone. We are all sharing the planet together, and we ought to honor one another in that belief, because it's the truth. It's not about your religious background, whatever the idea it is that, because it's all an idea, whatever it is that you're chasing, or your belief system is an idea, but the fundamental truth is that we're all sharing this planet together. If someone drops a hydrogen bomb in less than minutes, everyone will be dead, and we don't want people's ego to be driven to that narrative. So we have to treat one another with compassion. And because of the situation, that doesn't mean that people should go and start looting and harassing other people because you do not have enough. Ask and it shall be given. This is a time that we all have to admit kindness to one another. Show up. As an African, show up. All right? We love you all, and there will be more. Thanks for your time. Namaste.